Hey everybody, IBM Developer Advocate here, Kevin Hoyt, and I focus on emerging technologies, and one of those emerging technologies is IoT. And IoT is an interesting emerging technology because it's been around for a while as we think about it, but it really hasn't kind of sunk into the enterprise the way I think most IoT advocates would have you believe. And I think a lot of that has to do with it's kind of the security problem, right? The data problem, in terms of data storage and data access and scaling to handle all the data sensors and so on. So these are all problems that I address in my blog and my talk, and I'd encourage you to check it out if you get the point. Today, though, I'm just going to have some fun. So this guy right here is a ZX gesture sensor. SparkFun co-produced this with XYZ Labs, XYZ Interactive, and it's been around for a while. In a previous iteration, they just released this new iteration, and I thought, well, you know what? I'll give that a shot. Oh, this sounds like fun to play with. So I picked it up. It's cheap little gesture sensors that work, and so what happens here is you can see that there are two kind of parts on the PCB here on either end, and these are IR emitters, so they're just little LEDs, if you will. They're emitting infrared, and then as something passes in front of the board here, the PCB here, there's another sensor here in the middle, and this is an IR sensor. So the IR bounces off something coming in front of it, and the IR sensor picks that up. And at that point, then it passes it along via I²C, and you can do whatever you want with whatever data you have. And you can get very detailed data, but you can also just get broad gesture data. And so that's the case of what we've got here. I've got it set up just to configure out left, right, and up. So if I swipe left across the board or right across the board, if I bring my hand in front of the board really close and then raise it up, then it'll detect that. And the box in which it detects it in is, I think the docs say somewhere like 12 inches. In my experience, it's a little bit more like 8 inches. So imagine an 8-inch cube floating kind of in front of the box, or in front of the PCB, with the PCB kind of in the bottom center. And that's the space you get. The other board I have here is a Particle Photon. And so the Particle Photon, I've talked about many times before. It's one of my favorite boards. It allows us to dump requests off to the Particle Cloud. The Particle Cloud then can proxy those requests off to other endpoints. And this is really valuable because the board itself doesn't have, if you're going to try to, for example, connect via HTTP or MQTT, it doesn't have the processing capability to do security really well. In fact, you kind of have to shim it in, at least if you're trying to do it directly yourself. From an underlying operating system perspective, it does actually. It uses TLS under the covers to make requests back to the particle cloud, and only to the particle cloud. And that's how they shim it down, as they kind of blacklist down to that one single location. So the particle photon here is connected to the internet, and also connected to the gesture sensor. And so when events come across to the photon, it will send those off to the particle cloud, and then the particle cloud will proxy that request over to Watson IoT, and that's actually done through an HTTPS post. So we go TLS to the particle cloud, HTTPS over to Watson IoT. So we have a nice secure channel for our data, which again is one of those big problems I like to focus on from kind of keeping IoT going and kind of reaching its full potential. On the flip side, then, I actually have a Node.js instance running on Bluemix, and it's connected in two different ways. It's connected via MQTT on a secure channel to Watson IoT, and it's listening for those gesture events. And then the other one I have is then from the browser to the Node.js instance is Socket.io, and so that's going to deliver the events to the browser, or because it's WebSocket, functionally any other kind of platform you want to use here. But in this case, I'm just going to use the browser. And you can see in the background here, I've got the browser. It's already picked up one event when my finger came really close to the sensor, so that's data we're not really interested in. So, but we'll go ahead and just take our hand and we'll move over the sensor here. I'll go left. I'll use my right hand and I'll come across, and you can see that the browser picks that up and shows an image and then goes away. If I go the other way, Boom. All right, so this is this is the demo in action. If you notice, the image is Batman slapping Robin, and he switches hands. If I come across with my right hand, oh, not fast. There he goes. Not fast. So he's using his right hand. If I come across from a gesture with my left hand, then hopefully our photon just lost connection. So we'll give it a second to connect, and we'll do the left hand. You got to prove that Batman can slap Robin with either hand. That's an important thing to know. Oh, here we go. Come on now. Got to push an update today. All right. Well, so it goes. There it is. There's my little demo of Batman slapping Robin and going ahead and there we go. So let's go ahead. Come on now. Boom! Left hand. See, look at that. Right hand. Left hand. Woohoo! Very cool. So, all right. So there we go. Just a little kind of example using the ZX gesture sensor connecting to Watson IoT, off to Node.js on Bluemix, and ultimately with the final destination in the browser, all done through a secure channel, which is one of those big problems facing IoT. Again, for any more information, you can check out my blog and or catch one of my talks. Until then, we'll see you on the internet.